Even in the worst of my financial times, I admit that I have never known extreme struggles with putting food on the table. So it's important to me that I recognize my privilege and admit that I can't begin to know what some of you are potentially struggling with and not being able to afford high quality ingredients. In other videos, I bash things like canola oil and processed food, and it's easy to do in my reality where I don't work 40 hours away from home plus a commute. I am not a single parent. I don't have health issues and make it difficult to spend time preparing food. And I have so many other children that I couldn't possibly fit one more thing. Please understand from my heart, it's not my intention to make you feel less than a good parent or human being because of any of my suggestions. Poverty is real, and sadly, we live in a country that creates food deserts, making it even more difficult for low-income families to afford or have access to healthy vegetables. How do we expect our low-income families to not develop health issues when all they can afford is heavily processed and kind of void of nutrition? So that being said, I would like to present some affordable options that can make a difference on a small budget with limited time to cook. As I mentioned in my kitchen setup video, get a rice cooker. They are very affordable and save loads of time and money. And you can make so much more than just rice. They're fabulous for tiny kitchens. I have one that I actually travel with and bring to every hotel I go with, because with Joey I can reheat things, then they're extremely versatile. Packaged oatmeal, instant rice are examples of convenient foods that don't really offer that much convenience and cost way more than they should. For busy mornings, put your oatmeal flakes in the rice cooker before you go to bed, along with some water. Soaking them overnight actually makes them more digestible. So when you get up, you just need to turn it on, and by the time you are finished with your shower, you have fresh, hot oatmeal that you can add your own ingredients to. But if you like, you can add the ingredients before you go to bed. So if you're a fan of apple cinnamon oatmeal, throw in a dash of cinnamon and take that apple slice that went uneaten in the lunchbox that day, dice it up and add it to the soaking oats. As for rice, making rice in the rice cooker makes it relatively infallible, and you can get on with the rest of your meal while it's minding its own business and doing what it's there to do without your involvement. Rice is one of the most affordable foods on the planet. Plus, it has a long shelf life, meaning that you can always buy large bags and always have it as an option when you don't have time to shop. Beans fall into that same category, although dried beans take an extremely long time to cook, so more planning is needed. Canned beans are still an affordable option and offer the benefit of a fast meal. But that being said, a plain dish of beans and rice is rather boring, so how can you kind of give it a lift? The answer for making all simple food enjoyable is spices. Living in the United States, I love to purchase spices at ethnic grocery stores because they are often much less money. Curry blends, Mexican blends, za'atar, Asian 5-spice seasonings, sumac, and many others. You can purchase your spices in glass jars, but clean them out and reuse them. Glass jars will add an unnecessary cost. Although it's best to store them in some reused glass jar, make sure you label them if you buy them dried and are adding them to it, because it's very common to forget what it is that's in there. And I frequently have let things drift to the back of the pantry, not knowing what's in it. So don't be afraid to add salt when making it yourself. Often I meet people who say, I never use salt in my home, which often translates to, I don't cook from scratch. Huge amounts of salts are added to prepackaged foods, so don't be afraid to allow it in your home and use it as much as you need. Often when people don't like their cooking, it's because they haven't salted it enough. Remember how we spoke earlier about how bite for bite herbs have the highest amount of nutrients? So use them when you can. Other than parsley and cilantro, they can be a little expensive to buy, so consider growing them. Growing fresh herbs is not possible in all homes, but if a window or patio planter is possible for you, then try growing some hardy varieties like oregano or rosemary, and especially thyme. Parsley, cilantro, and basil are other great options, but are often more challenging to grow. Eggs are my favorite food. When I can't deal with cooking for dinner, I love eggs, and I scramble them, do omelets, fry them in butter, all different kinds of things with sauteed green vegetables, maybe some poached over slices of tomatoes. But they also make great food on the go with salads and deviled eggs. French toast is incredibly simple and much healthier, more affordable option than when you make it yourself, especially compared to frozen waffles. Roasting a whole chicken is less expensive than buying it in parts. Plus, the leftover carcass can be used to make bone broth. However, many stores, like Costco, actually purposefully lose money on their sales of roasted chicken. This is why the roasted chickens are strategically placed in the back of the stores. They are willing to take a loss on the chicken with the assumption that you'll buy more while you're there. So go there when you can and buy those inexpensive chickens. When I roast a large chicken, we'll often eat the dark meat for dinner and save the white meat for tomorrow's chicken salad. But there are several ways a small family can divide it and create a couple of meals. Pound for pound, slow cooked meats are way more affordable and nutritious and easy, especially if you have a slow cooker. You don't need a fancy pressure cooker. If you can get in the habit of putting your meat and some cut up veggies such as carrots and onions, some salt and pepper in your slow cooker before you leave for the day, and watch it magically make your home smell delicious while providing you with an easy dinner. Bagged lettuce is often the best option in areas that don't get daily deliveries of produce, but if you're able to purchase a head of lettuce, it will go much further, and often it will taste a lot better. If your lettuce or vegetables is getting wilted, try dipping it in some very cold water for a bit to liven it up. And this brings me to the subject of salad dressing. Oil, vinegar, salt, pepper, and a good all-purpose seasoning is all you need for a delicious dressing. Use an old cleaned out jar or old salad dressing bottle to make enough to last for several salads, stored in the fridge. Lastly, I would be amiss if I didn't mention the healthier beverage option that often costs nothing: water. Is filtered water better? Absolutely. But if that cost is compromising your budget, then do what you can. It's definitely worth purchasing a home filtration system that may be as simple as a filtered pitcher, but drinking water as your predominant beverage is so beneficial in multiple ways. Pull away from as many prepared foods, fast foods, and pizzas that add a tremendous amount of strain on food budgets without any nutritional return value. Cultures where children are taught to cook and families and communities come together to help each other for meal prep is common in some places, but rare in the United States. I understand many things, possibly not in your reach, contribute to your struggles, and all of this is easier said than done. But please be open to some of the solutions that could make a huge difference in your health.